Ever hear the name Barbara Mikulski? She's never met a man that she liked. She's a senator, U.S. senator from Maryland. I think she's the longest-serving woman in a Senate seat in American history, which shows you that the dope in Maryland must be really, really good because people keep staggering into voting booths and giving her another term. She's retiring, thankfully. 924, Bill Colley with you on Top Story on News Radio 1310, KLIX and News Radio 1310.com. Did you get a chance yesterday to hear our program with Trip Family Medicine? We had an opportunity to talk about smoking cessation. That is, programs that they can help you. You'd like to quit smoking, how they can help you go about doing that. A lot of us beat the habit, call it a habit. It's an addiction. I gave up cigarettes in sometime in the middle of the 1990s. Happy I did. All right, other than the 80 pounds I gained, but other than that, I was happy about it. Well, they're going to join us every Wednesday from Trip Family Medicine. It's a different medical topic every time we get together. Different medical topic, and you have an opportunity to give us a telephone call between 8:30 and 9 o'clock on Wednesday mornings right here on the program. We call it Better Health with Trip Family Medicine. And you can find Trip Family Medicine directly across from the main post office on Fillmore Street right here in Twin Falls. And remember, life's too short not to feel good. Telephone number for reaching our program today, 736-0300. That's 736-0300. And we have a caller joining us. You're up next. You're on the air.
Yeah, Bill, before the last break, you were talking about Hillary Clinton and how even if there's enough evidence, which obviously there probably is, to convict her, that nothing will be done. This is exactly why we see things like what's going on in Oregon. Whether you agree with it or not, people are taking justice into their own hands. They don't trust the Justice Department or the system, and so we're only going to see more of it. You know, I owe back taxes. I don't get away with that. I have to pay them. And people like Hillary Clinton and all these politicians, and they're on both sides. They can do whatever they want, whenever they want, and we the people stand by and watch.
Yeah. I thank you for the call. And speaking of taxes, there's a story today. Happened to see it online this morning about the IRS. I believe it's a Daily Caller. It wasn't just Lois Lerner who was destroying the hard drive. Remember, she was behind the move to intimidate Tea Party groups, and obviously, when the government uses its tax system to go after its political opponents, that would be called high crimes and misdemeanors, I would think. She wasn't alone. It appears that there are now several other investigations going on into the IRS, and a great many other people. Oops, gee, I don't know, my hard drive. It's like somebody took a nail and dragged it over it. It's ruined now. You won't be able to look at any of my records. Once you say, all right, it's kind of funny that someone dragged a nail over her hard drive. But then when you discover that other people, the bureaucrats running this country are completely out of control. And they're not brought to justice. And yet you've got liberal Democrats in Oregon saying that Bundy and his associates should all be shot dead. Because why? They're sitting out in the middle of a cold, high desert not bothering anyone? 927, Bill Colley with you on Top Story on News Radio 1310, KLIX and News Radio 1310.com. We have another caller with us, and you're up next. You're on the air.
Yeah, speaking of the Hammonds and what's happened back in Oregon, in last summer in Okanagan County, Washington, the Forest Service was trying to do a back burn and burnt 1 million acres of Forest Service ground, and that it was grazing ground, and in the process, on private ground that it burned into, private timber sales. They lost their own timber on their private ground, the grazing grounds. It burned down haystacks, barns, equipment, fences, cabins.
Well, think about this for a minute. We have a federal government that discharged poison into a river and contaminated 3 states, and no one's getting in any trouble for that. Our caller from Guadalajara, who keeps complaining about Flint, Michigan, which was a city run by Democrats, and in fact a Democrat city manager appointed to deal with a financial crisis there, who was behind the water problem. He keeps screaming about the fact that the state has a Republican governor, but it was the bureaucrats working for the liberals at the EPA who followed that river through 3 states.
Well, the thing of it is there was farmers in New Mexico who used that river water to irrigate their crops. And in some cases, they weren't notified, or somehow and in some of their fields this last summer, their crops didn't mature because they are poisoned, and the EPA has done nothing, and nobody's held them accountable. And it's just like, for instance, when an environmentalist sues the Forest Service or the BLM or the Fish and Wildlife Service, the Obama administration has a policy now to settle, and then they give these environmental groups money from our tax dollars, and that's how these environmental groups continue to litigate. And it's a whole nother subject, and it's just unbelievable. The litigation in this next year is going to be up 62% in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. It's just more time than we got to go over. I got to stop here.
All right. Thank you much for the call. People obviously realize that government is getting away. The bureaucrats really run government, and they're getting away with these things. No one holds them accountable. At some point, people say, gee, I can't understand why Trump and Cruz are getting all of this attention. Gosh, American voters are angry. I wonder why. Bill Colley with you on Top Story. It's 29. Hey, more on this Barbara Mikulski gun grab coming up in just a moment.